The coffee had gone cold. I hadn't even sipped it. The steam had vanished before I realized it was there. My cap and gown hung on the back of a chair, stiff with the kind of pride no one else seemed to share. The apartment was still. No sounds, no scents, no voices. Just the soft hum of a refrigerator and the heaviness of breath. I checked my phone again. No missed calls. No messages. My thumb hovered over my dad's contact. I told myself, maybe they're just running late. Maybe something came up. But deep down I knew. I always knew. Still, I texted him on my way to the ceremony. Hope you can make it. He responded 10 minutes later. We're helping Lene get ready for prom. Hope it goes well today. No punctuation. No photo. No, we're proud of you. Just prom. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door, stepping into the Denver sun. It was warm, almost celebratory. My footsteps echoed down the hall like I was marching toward something final. I adjusted my cap in the rearview mirror and drove, trying not to cry. Not today. Not again. The ceremony was a blur of names and lights. When mine was called, I stood tall, smiled, walked across that stage like someone was watching. No one was. Back in my seat, the applause fading, I checked my phone. One new message. Transfer $2,000 to my card so Lene can get her hair and dress. If you care about this family, you'll help. No, congratulations. No, we're proud. I stared at it. The words pulsed. I remembered the dance camp, the tablet she just had to have, the flights, the hotels, the endless swipes of my card to keep Lene's world spinning. I typed one word. No. My thumb hesitated over the blue arrow. Then I sent it. The quiet after was louder than the standing ovation I'd never received. It was deafening. Later that night, I scrolled through Facebook. There she was, Lene, twirling in a glittering silver gown. Morel's caption read, "Some daughters make you proud. Some just disappear." Every like felt like a slap. I stared at the photo, jaw tight. Behind it, a lifetime of moments I'd swallowed whole to keep peace. Birthdays skipped, awards ignored, and always being told I was too sensitive when I noticed. I imagined her voice. Sweet, saccharine, poison. You know how much your sister needs this, Calla. You've always been the strong one. I whispered aloud. I graduated and you didn't even notice. Dinner was a bowl of instant noodles. The gown still hung on the chair, its white fabric catching the dull yellow light from the stove. I sat on the floor, knees to chest, slurping noodles while Lene's prom streamed live on my phone. The ballroom sparkled. She laughed under disco lights. The camera panned to the stretch limo out front. I knew that limo. 6 months ago, Morel had asked for my bank PIN, just in case of emergencies. I never questioned it. I thought, no, I believed she wouldn't cross that line. I opened my laptop. School email, unpaid balance alert. Confused, I logged into my bank. $4,000 gone. 3 days ago. Memo, private chauffeur services. My hand went numb. I remembered the first time I gave something up for Lene. My bike. I was 8. She was 6. She wants to impress Caleb, Mom had said. You understand, don't you? I nodded and walked instead. Every day. I didn't cry now. I opened a new bank account. Changed every password. Scheduled a freeze. Drafted a message. I know what you did. I never sent it. I looked at myself in the screen's reflection. I wasn't your daughter, I said aloud. I was your Plan B credit line. 3 days later, my phone buzzed again. You're no longer family. Good luck. No greeting. No sign-off. Just execution. I sat in my car outside the bank. The air was clean. The sky cloudless. You'd think the world would storm for endings like this. But it didn't. For the first time in years, I didn't feel shame. Not sorrow. Not rage. Nothing. A clearing. I called Erin. You free tonight? I asked. Her voice was warm. Sure. What's up? I just graduated from everything. Everything. Family. Guilt. Illusion. It's a full degree. Pause. Then laughter. Real, beautiful laughter. Have you ever had to let go of someone just to save yourself? The bank lobby smelled like old leather and sterilized air. Calla stood in front of the glass partition, speaking clearly to the manager on the other side. Yes, I need to remove an authorized user. Permanently. He nodded, tapping at the keyboard. And the reason? Unauthorized withdrawal, she said, her voice steady. It wasn't rage. It wasn't revenge. It was closure. By the time she left, the joint account was dissolved, a new line established in her name only. She called the university, updated her emergency contacts. Morel's name was scrubbed from every record. Medical, financial, educational. The phone was next. New plan. New carrier. As she blocked each number, a strange sense of lightness filled her chest, like unbuckling a too-tight seatbelt she hadn't realized was choking her. Freedom doesn't roar, she thought, watching the final screen load. Sometimes it just clicks. For the first time, she wasn't reacting to chaos. She was creating distance with intention. It was early evening when Morel arrived. Uninvited. The pounding at the door started soft, then grew frantic. Calla didn't move. She watched through the peephole as her mother stood in a floral blouse, perfectly ironed, her lipstick 2 shades too red. You ruined your sister's future. For what? Morel's voice cut through the hallway. All because you couldn't handle not being the center of attention for once. Neighbors peeked out from behind blinds. One dog barked. Calla didn't flinch. She simply narrated in her mind, Morel Vaughn's suburban mother, publicly unraveling at dusk. Rage turned to guilt, like clockwork. You'll regret this when I'm dead, Morel cried, clutching her chest dramatically. You'll look back and realize you chose pride over family. Calla leaned her forehead against the door, not to listen, just to feel how solid it was. Funny, she whispered to herself. She only yells when there's no mirror around. The voice faded. The footsteps receded. Peace returned. Later, her phone buzzed. It was Clifford. Your mother's not well. Just do this for peace. Calla read the text 3 times. Each word scraped a familiar scar. She typed back. Peace doesn't mean silence. It means boundaries. She stared at it, then added a period. For once, a memory surfaced. 12 years old, crying in her room after Lene screamed at her. Clifford had knocked gently and said, "Don't upset your mother." She had learned then that calm didn't mean protection. It meant compliance. She deleted the thread without hitting send. No more scripts. Just space. Lene's call came 2 days later. The voice on the other end was soft. Tentative. You didn't have to make a scene, she said, voice cracking. You made me look like a fool. Calla sat at the window watching cars pass. I didn't make a scene, she replied. I made a choice. Lene went silent. Calla continued. Did you ever think about what I felt, being your bank account? That's not fair. No, Calla interrupted. What's not fair is spending years believing that love meant never saying no. Lene whispered, I thought family meant doing things without question. Calla smiled without warmth. Funny how that only ever applied to me. Click. The call ended, and with it, so did the noise. Morel didn't message again. Clifford remained quiet. The silence wasn't an absence, it was a boundary, and it was hers. One afternoon, while clearing a closet, Calla found a box marked Dovey. Her grandmother. Inside, a birthday card she had forgotten. The edges were frayed, the ink faded. You don't have to earn love. If it's real, it finds you. She sat on the floor, reading it again. The tears came, not from grief, from recognition. This was what love looked like. Not performance, not pressure, just presence. She pinned the card on her fridge. A small, silent rebellion. A promise. I'm not lost, she said to the quiet. I'm finally alone with myself, and I like her. Have you ever stopped chasing someone just to see if they'd ever turn around? The air was warm that night, a kind of stillness you only get in early summer, where even the wind feels like it's holding its breath. I stood across the street from the hotel ballroom, headphones on, watching the glow spill through tall glass windows. They'd gone all out, colored spotlights sweeping the room, paper lanterns strung like stars, kids in dresses and suits spinning under lights that weren't meant for me. I didn't move from the shadow of the street lamp. I didn't need to. I just watched, box swelling softly in my ears, a string quartet smoothing the edges of a night built on illusion. Through the glass, I saw Lene laughing at something a friend said, her gown shimmering like it came straight from a magazine cover. Even from across the street, I could see the practiced angle of Morel's phone as she filmed, her pride polished to perfection. And it struck me how unusual it was that from a distance, everything looked whole, solid, real. But I knew better. I knew exactly how thin the veneer was. The show's about to start, I murmured into the night. And they don't even know who's pulling the curtains. I'd already removed every tether they once held, funding, access, permissions. All the threads they used to pull me into their chaos, severed without fanfare. I remembered my grandmother's voice, the soft rasp in her laugh. You don't need to scream to be heard. I kept my feet planted. I wasn't here to cause anything. I was here to witness the truth reveal itself. I didn't have to wait long. Inside, the MC stepped up to the mic, gesturing toward Lene. His voice echoed across the street through the faintly open doors. Something like, tonight we honor the perfect daughter my breath caught, not from hurt, but from the recognition of pattern. Always the perfect one. The chosen one. Never the honest one. The mic cut out mid-sentence. A sharp pop of static. The music stuttered, froze, died. I watched heads turn. The swirling lights flickered, then steadied, then flickered again. Staff members huddled near the sound booth, whispering loud enough that even across the street I could make out the edge of panic. Then came the first surge. A woman in a black headset approached Morel, speaking quickly. I watched Morel's hand wave dismissively, her posture stiff with denial. Seconds later, her whole expression shattered. Someone held out a tablet screen showing declined charges, and then another message, then another. Her face drained. Completely. The crowd shifted. Phones came out. Teenagers whispered. Some pointed. A boy near the front actually laughed. Through the window, I saw Lene freeze on stage, confusion replacing her practiced smile. Mom, she mouthed. What's happening? Morel's jaw clenched. Then she snapped. she did this. Pure acid. Pure blame. It ricocheted through the room. Clifford stumbled into view. Late as always, tie crooked. He tried to speak to staff, palms up, trying to calm a fire he didn't understand. They brushed past him. He was irrelevant, just like always. Everything unraveled, and I didn't move. I turned away instead. The noise of chaos faded behind me, swallowed by the hum of traffic. The classical music shifted into a softer piece, a cello carrying a low note that felt like breath. I didn't smile. I didn't revel in it. I just felt my lungs expand. For the first time in a long time, every inhale belonged to me. My phone buzzed. Morel's name lit up the screen. I let it ring. Then Lene's name flashed. I blocked it. I didn't hesitate. As I walked, the street lamp cast a long shadow in front of me, the light crisp against asphalt. It felt symbolic, sure, but not forced. Just honest. A quiet truth in a week full of noise. Behind me, I heard someone calling my name. I didn't turn until the clack of heels hit the sidewalk hard enough to echo. Calla. Morel's voice cracked, panic laced with fury. She was breathless, her face streaked with mascara. You ruined her life. You made us a joke. I faced her calmly. I didn't ruin her life, I said. You did that the day you chose a dress over my degree. Her lips trembled. She switched tactics, always the performer. We're still your family, she pleaded. You can't just walk away. I held her gaze. You made sure I wasn't part of it. She faltered. Gone was the carefully curated facade. Her shoulders shook, her breath uneven. People from the venue watched through the glass. Some recording, some just staring. But to me, the world shrank down to one simple truth. I no longer lived in her orbit. I stepped backward, then turned. Calla! She screamed, but it didn't touch me anymore. I walked into the dark, my steps steady, the night swallowing the sound of her voice until there was nothing left but the rhythm of my own breathing. Later, at home, I opened my laptop to a blinking notification. An email from a nonprofit I respected, inviting me to interview. They'd seen my graduate project. They wanted to talk. I stared at the screen, then at the photo from my graduation, propped against the wall. Me in cap and gown, smiling alone. It didn't hurt anymore. It felt earned. It was worth it, I whispered. Outside, the night was still, not hollow, just calm. Forgiveness didn't tug at me. Reconciliation didn't tempt me. I didn't need either. Silence was enough. Have you ever won by walking away without fists, without fury, but with peace? I closed the laptop, turned off my phone, and let myself sleep.